Hey there, welcome back to Branded. I'm Sarah, and I bet there is an offer that you've been really wanting to launch, but you haven't built it yet. You know exactly what it is. You've thought about it more than once. You might even have a name for it or a rough outline, maybe even a price point that you've been sitting with. So it's not a vague idea. It's a specific thing that you've been meaning to get to. Yet every time you think about actually building it, something stops you. Not like in a dramatic way, just a quiet but persistent sense that now just isn't the right time, that you need a little more bandwidth first, that things need to slow down before you add something new. That once your current launch is done, or the current client load lightens, or your back end of your business is a little more sorted out, then you'll have the space to build it properly. And so this new offer stays on the to-do list, moving from this quarter to next quarter, from this year to next year. It's never urgent enough to prioritize, never small enough to just get it done. So it's just sitting there, waiting for the perfect conditions that never quite arrive. So today I want to talk about that offer and more specifically about what's actually keeping you from building it, because I don't think it's what you've been telling yourself. Let's use an evergreen digital product as our example today, because this is something that could run without you. It could be a course, a guide, a template suite, a self-paced program, something you could build once and sell repeatedly without it requiring your time or your personal involvement every time someone purchases. You know you have the expertise to create something like this. You've probably delivered versions of it through your one-on-one work or your group offers already. You know that it would serve people at an earlier stage of the journey, people who aren't ready for your highest level work yet, but who could genuinely benefit from what you know. You know that it would create revenue that doesn't require you to be the one delivering it. And you know that it probably would do really well. Like, not maybe, it would probably most definitely do really well because you know your audience. You know what they're asking about. You know where their gaps are. So it's not really a question of whether the offer is a good idea. You already know that it's a good idea. The question is why it's still sitting on the to-do list. So let's be honest about it. The reason you give yourself for why this offer hasn't been built yet is usually some version of the same thing. I don't have the time or the bandwidth right now, right? Play the tiny violin. And that may be true. You might not have much time right now, but not in the way that you mean it when you say it like that. You don't have the kind of spacious, uninterrupted, low pressure stretch of time that building something new feels like it requires. The kind where you could sit down with a very clear head and a clear calendar and build the thing properly without everything else crowding in around it. So you wait for that window to open, but guess what? That window never opens because that window doesn't exist inside a business that's running at the level you're running. There's always something else. There's always a launch or a client delivery or a back end business thing that needs attention or a content cycle that never stops. So the offer keeps waiting. But instead of the usual advice about making time or prioritizing differently or batching your content so you can free up a week to build, I don't think building the offer is what you're actually avoiding. Think about it. Every time you think about building, let's say it's that digital product, what you're actually brushing up against isn't a time problem. It's a readiness problem. Not your readiness, but your business's readiness. Because a digital product that runs without you requires something that your business might not currently have. It requires a back end that can handle A new offer without you supervising it, a checkout system that works, an onboarding sequence that delivers correctly every time without you checking on it, an automation that processes the purchase, sends the right information, grants the right access, and updates the right records without you being the thing that makes sure all of that happens. And somewhere in the back of your mind, when you think about building this offer, you know that your current back end structure isn't ready for that. So adding something new feels heavier than it should because the infrastructure that would need to support a new digital product is the same infrastructure you're already compensating for with your current offers. And building a new offer on top of that feels like adding a floor to a building when the foundation isn't even done. So you don't do it. Not until things settle, not yet. Not until there's more bandwidth, not until the infrastructure feels ready. What you're telling yourself is that you need more time. What you're actually sensing is that you need more of a solid foundation. And those two things have completely different solutions. The offer you haven't built yet isn't just an offer. It's a signal. It's your own instinct telling you something true about the state of your business. That the infrastructure underneath your current offers isn't solid enough to add something new without it becoming another thing that you have to supervise. And that signal is worth taking seriously, not as a reason to keep waiting, but as a reason to look honestly at what that signal is pointing to. Because the path to the offer that you want to build doesn't go through finding more bandwidth. It goes through building the foundation that makes adding something new feel possible rather than overwhelming. What would it look like if your existing offers ran cleanly without you? If the onboarding delivered correctly every time without a second check? If the automations processed the purchases completely without you having to verify? If the back end held up under its current volume without your manual oversight? If all of that were true, would building a new digital product feel as heavy as it does right now? Probably not. Because the weight you're feeling isn't the weight of building something new. It's the weight of knowing you'd be building something new on top of something that isn't solid. And that's a different sensation, right? But it's also really useful information. It's your business telling you, hey, there's an order of operations here. And here's what I mean by order of operations. It's not find more bandwidth, then build the offer. It's build the foundation that makes the offer possible, then build the offer. And the foundation piece of this isn't complicated. It's not a complete overhaul of everything. It's getting the infrastructure that already exists solid enough that you trust it to run without you watching it. Clean onboarding for what you already offer, automations that process purchases completely, a back end that reflects what's actually happening rather than what was happening 2 years ago. When that's in place, a digital product is not a complicated addition. It's actually a relatively simple one. You build the content, you build the checkout, you plug it into the infrastructure that already exists and already works, and you launch it. And then it runs without you, the way you always imagined that it would. But that version requires to have a foundation first. And the foundation is the thing that you've been trying to skip by waiting for more time. So before you push the offer to next quarter again, put it in the calendar and tell yourself, okay, this time I'll have the space to build it. I want you to sit with one honest question. Is it the offer that you're waiting on, or are you avoiding the fact that the foundation of your business might need a revamp? Because there's a version of this where you've known for a while that the foundation needs work before the offer really makes sense. And the offer has been sitting on your to-do list, not because you're stuck, but because part of you is waiting for the moment you decide to do the foundation work. And that moment doesn't come from finding more bandwidth. It comes from deciding that the offer matters enough to build what it actually requires, which is a business that can hold it. The offer isn't the thing you're avoiding. The foundation work is. And the foundation is the thing that makes everything else possible, including the offer, including the freedom from supervision that the offer was supposed to give you in the first place. You already know what this next big idea is for you. You've always known. Now the question is whether you're ready to build what it needs to stand on. Share this with a business owner who's been waiting for the right time to build the thing she already knows she wants to build. This might give her the nudge that she's been waiting for. I always love to hear what you guys have to say. Rate and review the show, and I'll see you next week for a brand new episode. Bye, y'all.